When we look at a DWI case, we're not just worried about what happens to our clients criminally, we're also concerned how the DWI will affect them in everything else in their life. For example, if they get convicted of a DWI, what are the collateral consequences? Will they lose their job? Will they lose their employment? Could it affect them in a custody case? We take all of that into consideration when we're representing our clients. So that we can adequately prepare a proper defense, we need to know how a DWI conviction will affect our clients. And then we do everything we can to avoid that conviction. Sometimes if the evidence does substantiate our client's guilt, it involves convincing the prosecutor of everything our clients have to lose and how that punishment does not actually fit the actual arrest in this scenario. A lot of employers run background checks of their employees. And if someone is convicted of a DWI, they could very easily lose their job. Therefore, we need to know this when we're defending the case. So when we defend the case, we do everything we can to mitigate the consequences, not only the criminal consequences, but the consequences outside of the conviction process. So in defending your DWI case, it's very important for us to know what are the collateral consequences. How will a DWI conviction affect you, and how will it affect your family? Also, if you're arrested for a DWI and you're trying to decide if you should let your employer know, you should first see if there's an obligation that you have to tell your employer. If you don't have to tell your employer because of a contractual obligation or statutory obligation, I'd recommend not telling your employer. However, I have found a lot of times the employers are notified about a DWI arrest by an accidental disclosure. For example, while my client is in jail, a family member may call the employer to say that the individual will be out for the day, and then we'll say the person got arrested for a DWI. We try to minimize those consequences when we represent our clients, and so we generally advise our clients if they're not required by statute or they're not required by contract to disclose if they've been arrested for a DWI, then we advise that they don't. What I'm trying to get across is that a DWI conviction can have a lot more serious impacts than just a criminal conviction. It reaches all parts of your life. It can affect your ability to find a job. It can affect your ability to keep a job. And if you're going through a custody case, it may even affect the relationship you have with your children. Therefore, it's essential that we take the DWI case seriously because it can impact your job and it can impact your family, and your future depends on it. If you've been arrested for a DWI and you'd like to discuss your case with me, please give my office a call to schedule your initial strategy session.